Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of the Bright Side of Beauty podcast presented by Beyond Skin Aesthetics. Today's episode is pretty fun. We're going to do a little Q&A. I put a question box on my Instagram and y'all send in your questions. So I'm going to answer some of those. And I'm actually going to make this a two-parter because I got some really juicy ones that I feel like are going to take a little bit longer to answer than just one single solo episode. So you're actually going to get two solo episodes from me. Let's just jump right in. Starting off with, this is so funny to me. You've had such a glow up in the best way. What are you doing? Well, friends, I had a baby. And so the postpartum glow up is definitely a real thing. And two, I got a divorce at the exact same time. So I feel like life has just completely transformed in the last 2 years. The last 1 year, especially just since last January, has been so transformative. And when you come from a really dark place and you are taken out of a toxic environment, that will do wonders for you in itself. My beautiful baby boy, Easton James, is a huge part of that as well. I'm staying very active with him and I'm just happy and at peace. And I feel like a lot of that quote unquote glow up that people see a lot is truly just happiness from others. The other thing is I am on tirzepatide. So that's a huge one too. Okay. I'm not gatekeeping this. I am on Zepbound and I am really focused on health. The other thing that I've been doing is we are currently moving towards solid foods with Easton. And so with that, I have decided to do the baby-led weaning, and he is kind of choosing what he wants to eat and he eats what I eat. So I am overanalyzing every single thing that I put into my mouth because he is also eating it. And that is a huge, I would say, postpartum dieting tip. Total sidebar, but that is a huge one as well. From a inflammation standpoint I would never underestimate the amount of inflammation and tension that your body holds on to when you are in a bad mental place. So mental health is a huge thing. GLP-1s address insulin resistance, address that inflammation in your body. So that's a huge thing. I have transformed my diet to be very anti-inflammatory and very conscious on fueling my body. So every single thing that I'm putting in to my body, I'm thinking, is this adding inflammation or is this helping to fight inflammation? And I think that that's a huge thing. Of course, I'm doing my treatments in the office as well. We got the Glacial Skin RX machine last year, and it has been an absolute game changer for my rosacea. It's been a game changer for our patients when it comes to post-procedure and them not having any downtime either. I'm somebody that absolutely hates downtime. And frankly, I just don't have time for downtime with treatments these days, especially with having a almost 1-year-old and being a business owner and just single mom and like all of the things together. So having a treatment that I can get done and then go right back to daily life like an hour later is such a game changer for me. So that has been a huge one. And then of course, Alicia's been doing her magic. So when it comes to like aesthetic procedures that I've had done, and this is another question as well, is what aesthetic procedures have I had done in the past year to give me, not a new face, but a very naturally refined and refreshed appearance. That is part of that glow up. 1, joy and happiness is huge. 2, I have had threads done almost about 9. So if Easton is almost a year old, then I had threads done about 9 months ago. Same thing with filler. I get neurotoxin every 3 to 4 months, depending on when mine wears off and when it's time. Alicia just tells me when it's time to sit down in her chair. And then I do regular facials on myself. And that is something that I have not been good about doing previously, but I have gotten good because with the Glacial Skin RX, I can actually treat myself. So I've been really good about actually doing treatments on myself. So I'm getting a facial regularly. That's a game changer. I've also changed up my skincare routine recently. And this was a question that several of you sent in. You loved the episode about Ourself, the new skincare line that we brought in this past year, and learning about the science behind them. Many of you asked for more information on Ourself. If you haven't listened to the episode, go back a couple of episodes to the episode with Ryan Willis of Ourself. We dive into what the technology is behind Ourself and some of my favorite products and places that I think that you should start with it. Little bit of just an overview of Ourself for you that maybe we didn't talk so specifically about in that episode is Ourself is it was created from two of the scientists that came from Elastin and the fantastic science behind Elastin science. In Elastin skincare, you know how much that we love Elastin skincare at BSA. The way that I think of it is this is like the continuation and the advancement of that. So Elastin actually sold to Galderma a couple years ago now, and they are now owned by Galderma. And with that comes great advancements because they have more money to be able to do more testing. But sometimes also there's less creativity for those scientific minds that may be like in the lab and just want to experiment and put something out brand new versus, when skincare companies are owned by these mega corporations in a way or by big pharma, they have very specific jobs that they are attempting to create products for versus it being just skin health discovery in a way. So the way that I look at Ourself, and this is not from Ourself, this is just from me outside looking in as they have been launching and developing their new products, is this is kind of the creative outlet for some of those wonderful minds. Many of the team members on the Ourself team were at Elastin and Color Science and Skin Medica before that. And all are brands that I absolutely love. So when it comes to why we chose to bring them in, that was really why we trusted the people that were behind it. And we were able to learn about the science that blew us out of the water. So this is skincare that's actually reaching the dermis and is able to make a change at the dermal layer, AKA where your cells are forming, where the problems are forming, and it's able to correct those so that your cell is able to function the best way possible all the way up. This is, to me, the way that I would describe this is a biohack of the skin. There are many different products that are on the market today that are focusing on that biohacking that have come out in the last 12 months of our lives. And all of those skincare products are like my ride or dies. The Color Science Barrier Pro Serum Spray is one of those. It's a pre-pro postbiotic spray that actually helps your body produce vitamin D. And fun fact, if you didn't know this about vitamin D production, your skin is responsible for 90% of that production and utilization inside of your body. AKA, when we say we want to go out in the sun because we want some vitamin D, what we are really saying is we are like flowers, we are like plants, and we want our bodies to basically photosynthesize all of those rays and create that vitamin D for our bodies to then be able to use. If our cells are not functioning the right way, our body cannot produce that vitamin D and cannot use that vitamin D. So to me, this serum spray, even though it's a pre-pro postbiotic, it's focusing on your barrier function. Think of it like your gut health. It's focusing on your microbiome and your barrier health and function. This spray is a biohack because it's helping your body to produce what it needs to be its best possible. Living in Columbus, Ohio, I am always deficient in vitamin D, and that's a huge one. So those two things together, so really the Barrier Pro collection from Color Science, but specifically the Barrier Pro Serum Spray, and then the Ourself technology has been my switch up this year that has just been chef's kiss. So good. What else have I started using this year? Well, I really have kind of changed up my skincare routine completely in the last 12 months, and I'm loving it. I feel like I found a really fantastic balance with everything. And so that is just a part of the glow up. So to answer the question again, that's a little bit more about Ourself and where it came from, the science behind it. My glow up is happiness. My glow up is some changes that I've made in my life in the past 12 months. And it's just balance overall, balance in my health, balance in my skin, balance in my life, balance in, the mental state that I'm in. And it's just happiness all together. Okay. Next question. What is your routine? How do you manage day to day as a single mom? I can't imagine it. Okay. I appreciate that. I appreciate the recognition of that I am a single mom, and being a mother is really hard. Being a single mother is really hard. They are equally as hard. What I will say is I am extremely blessed. Even though I am a single mother, I am not doing it by myself. I have my parents that are very hands-on. They live 4 minutes away from Easton and I, and they are extremely involved in our lives. And so I have never one time felt like I was truly a single parent, in the sense that I did not have a backup to be able to call. And if I was just in a really bad place or feeling super stressed out, there was one day I called my mom and I said, okay, this wouldn't normally be a big deal. However, I really just need somebody to come here and sit with Easton for 15 minutes. Can you come over for 20 minutes? And she drove 4 minutes down the road and came and sat with Easton while I cleaned up after Memphis one day. And that is the type of support that I had. So I feel like I've never truly been a single parent, even though I am very much so a single parent. Mentally, I have not felt alone as a single parent, even though the responsibility is solely on me to set Easton up for success and to make sure that we are safe and happy and cared for, and there's a roof over his head, and he has everything possible to make sure that he is set up for success in this world, whether that be, learning a good work ethic, whether that be just a peaceful environment at home, all of the things. Those pressures absolutely do fall completely on me, but I've always felt like I have a tribe around me that has lifted me up. And I felt that before I gave birth, right after the other person left, I felt that circle really tighten up in support. And there has not been a single day that I have not felt that support. Okay, back to the root of the question though. What is your routine? How do you manage the day to day? This is so real. Guys, you have to have a routine. I think as a parent, you have to have a routine. As a working individual that just wants to have balance in their life, you have to have some sort of routine or system set in place. I think that the phrase routine has been used a lot versus think of it like a system. You have to set systems in place for success. So the way that I view it is my mom sat me down before Easton came home and she said, listen, the only way you're going to be able to handle this is if you do these very specific things. My suggestion would be make sure that every single night the dishes are clean before you go to bed. Always have a load of laundry going. It's going to feel like you're always doing laundry. You are, but you're going to be able to stay ahead of it where it's not going to feel as overwhelming. There were certain things that I put in place, certain systems that I put in place so that I didn't feel like I had to do catch up or I had to spend one day out of my 7 days of the week cleaning and getting our lives back in order and doing all of these things. By having these systems set in place throughout the week, I was able to make sure that our mornings started off slow, calm, intentional. Our evenings were able to be slow, calm, and intentional. And even if they don't necessarily always feel like that inside of my head, they are like that for Easton. And because of that, he is such a happy baby. He knows that he is safe and protected, and you can just tell by the way that he moves through this world that he knows that he is safe, cared for, protected, and loved. And that is ultimately my goal. So my routine, I wake up in the morning. Typically, it's about 2 hours before Easton wakes up. Mainly that's because I take forever to get ready. Talk about squirrel moments. I will start doing something and then I'll start doing something else for 20 minutes and then I'll come back and do something else. And then I bounce all over the place. So what I do is I get up about 2 hours before Easton has to get up. Sometimes he will wake up while I'm doing my morning routine, but most of the time I will go in and wake him up when I'm completely ready for the day. So I wake up in the morning, I go put my contacts in, I wash my face. At that point, I go to the kitchen and I will make I call it my breakfast shake. It's not actually breakfast. It's an electrolyte amino acid blend. And so I'll shake that up and I will do my supplementation. And so I use Quicksilver. I have a regimen that I have in my refrigerator ready to go. All I have to do is do my squirts straight down the line of all of my liquid products. When I'm done with that, I hold it in my mouth for 90 seconds. When I'm done with that, I take my other supplementation. By the time that I am done with taking all my supplements and making that shake, Typically, my skincare has settled where I can then start either my SPF makeup or my makeup for the day. You can technically go straight through, but for me, because I do have such squirrel moments, that's a way for me to actually stay focused. I just know once I do my skincare, I'm walking away from my kitchen counter and I'm walking away from my bathroom counter and I'm going to my kitchen counter. And then when I'm done there, I'm going back to my bathroom counter, and it just keeps me on track. I also have podcasts playing the entire time. I feel like I could start my morning with music. I could start my morning with silence. And there are days where I do so because I feel like I just mentally cannot handle having a podcast or something educational. Like I wouldn't retain it. It would just be playing and it would be stressing me out. But if I'm able to start my day off with having a podcast playing, and that might be an inspirational podcast. It might be, and when I say inspirational, it could be actually inspirational, or it could just be something that like, maybe it's a fashion and beauty podcast and it just gets me excited and motivated for the day. And I have these inspired creative ideas as I go into an inspired creative day in the office. So I kind of tailor what my podcasts are in the morning around what I'm doing for the day so that my mental place is where I want it to be at for the day. So I'm listening to those while I'm doing my morning routine. When I'm all done with my morning routine, I go back to the kitchen. I have a bottle cleaner and I have a bottle maker as well for Easton. Are they necessary investments? Absolutely not. Are they necessary investments when you are a single mom? Abso-freaking-lutely. 100 out of 10. You have to have them. I promise they are one of those things that like add it to your baby registry, invest in it. I know it may seem ridiculous to spend $100 on a bottle cleaner, but the amount of time and energy and mental capacity that it is taken away from me, because I know that I can rinse out a bottle. If I need to soak it, I can soak it, and then I can put it in the bottle cleaner, and the bottle cleaner will even dry it for me. So it is completely done. I don't even have to think about it. Is like so important. The other thing that I have is the Brezza. I think it's Brezza. Technically, I say Brezza. I don't know why I had an extra E, but I did. So I have the baby Brezza bottle maker. That's the bottle cleaner that I have too. But the bottle maker, it has a setting for his specific formula. I wasn't able to breastfeed, so he is on formula. So I have it set for his specific formula. It will measure out the water. All I have to do is literally hit a button and it'll make the bottle. The most that I have to do is clean it regularly and make sure that it is full of water. It'll tell me when it's running out of water. I can see when it's running out of formula. All I have to do is dump it in there and keep on going with my day. The amount of time, the amount of energy, the amount of stress that takes care of is amazing. Okay? Like, it is worth it. You have to have it. The amount of times that I have Easton on a hip and I just hit the button and then I have his bottle and I can keep on moving through the day. I promise. Like, that part of my routine is so important. At this point of time, typically I will know if I need to start a load of laundry before I leave for work, or if I can do one when I get home from work, or if maybe I need to skip a day and I do a load of laundry the very next day. But I followed Kim Poor's advice and I have a load of laundry going almost constantly, so I never feel like there's buildup. 2 to 3 days a week, I like to run the vacuum. This is also when I will run the vacuum. Another tip for parents out there, if you are expecting, or if you maybe aren't expecting, just put this in the back of your head if you know you want to have kids one day. Never stop making noise around your baby. And what I mean by that is vacuum from the day that they get home. My mom and I were vacuuming around Easton while he was sleeping from the moment that we brought him home, because now he can sleep through anything. So I don't have to pause what I'm doing or plan around his sleep schedule necessarily, as much as I need to make sure that he's sitting somewhere. That boy can sleep anywhere. He can sleep through anything, as long as he does not have FOMO he thinks that like there's somebody around, because he just wants to be where the people are. My dad always says the Little Mermaid must be his favorite because he just wants to be where the people are. And it is so true. As long as he doesn't see people that he wants to be spending time with, if I put him down for a nap, he is out like a light. And that is because I have sleep trained him to be able to do that. I have also made sure that there is noise around him all the time. I have these environments. He knows that he is safe and taken care of. So he trusts that even if I'm vacuuming and making noise, he's still safe. He's good to go, and it doesn't disrupt him. So I would say that that's a big tip too. But I run the vacuum 3-4 times a week. I mop twice a week. I am starting to pick that up more now that we are in wintertime because shoes and feet are dirty. And even if you take your shoes off, the chances of somebody stepping in something and dog paws and all the things, I'm mopping a lot more right now. But that's kind of my schedule is I will clean, I will get everything set up in the morning. Then I head into the office. I have a very unique situation. I am able to bring Easton to work with me. And so I have one day a week where my mom has Easton and I am in the treatment room and I don't have to, like, I'm not mom and business at the exact same time. Most days, however, I am doing both at the same time. And when I say most days, I mean, even on Saturday and Sunday, I've got the work cell phone. I'm doing different things in our DMs, creativity. Like we are kind of around the clock balance. The reason that this was so important to me, and I started setting myself up for this before I even had Easton. I knew about 1.5 years before I had Easton that by the time that I had kids, this was how I wanted my life to be situated around. I want the ability to, if he has a doctor's appointment, I don't have to think twice about if I can go and be fully present or not, or if I'm missing something at work. I plan around those things. So it's just a part of my day, the same way as work is a part of my day. There might be nights where I'm done working at 2:00 because I front loaded my day and I maybe started working at 7 a.m. and then I'm done at 2 versus, and by done, I mean, I'm doing other things from, 2:00 to bedtime, but I'm always in my DMs and responding to calls and texts. And there may be days where maybe in the morning, Easton does have a doctor's appointment. And so I am then working from 12 to 9 p.m. And the chances of me working at 9 or 10 p.m. is pretty high. Typically, once I put Easton to bed, I do a couple things for a couple of hours and then I get right back to life. But so leave in the morning, I head into the office. I've got Easton all day long. I try to really time block my days. And I've learned to give myself a lot of grace with these time blockings. My time blockings cannot be the same as they used to be before I had Easton. They can't be the same as they used to be when my brain could comprehend focusing on one thing at a time. Something psychological happens when you have a child and you no longer can truly focus on one or two things at once. There are truly 100 things going through your brain at the exact same time. And there's no other way that I can even explain that other than even if you have ADD before, it goes times 1,000. Like it takes it. Even if you have trouble focusing before, your brain is on keeping this little human alive and all of the other things that you have to do. And I wonder sometimes too, if because I am a single parent, that's actually multiplied because there's nothing that I can truly like throw my hands up and let go of. Like I have to take care of everything. But there's always things running through my brain. So I've learned in this past year to give myself a little bit of grace and to write every single thing down somewhere. The way that I do this is I started using the reminder part of my iPhone calendar. So once you get the update, if y'all don't have the update yet, when you update your phones, your calendar like set things now are combined with your reminders and like your to-do list. It's all in one single thing together. And you just toggle back and forth between like, what does it say? When you're creating it, it'll say either event or reminder. I use this religiously. I sync up my events on my iPhone calendar to my work calendar so that it all plays together, whether it's on my laptop, whether it's on my phone, whether it's on my iPad, or whether it's on our EMR system. I will make sure that like my patient schedule is on my phone and I know those time blocks where like I may be seeing patients. I know when there are appointments going on. I know when I have a meeting. All of that's in here together. Then I will go through and I will set reminders in my phone for specific times. Those reminders, you can't change the setting. Those reminders show up as an hour-long reminder. For me, that's the perfect amount of time where even if I don't do it inside of that hour, I know that there's an hour of my day that is blocked somewhere, no matter where it flows in, that I'm spending on that task. And that task might be call mom. But It's on my calendar. So I have it digitally. I don't just have it digitally though. I have what I call a brain book. And this is my planner that I've had the same planner. It's a Commit 30 planner. Love it. I'm on my fourth one. Kim Poor got it for Katie and I 3 years ago. She got it for the first time 4 years ago. So now Katie and I are on our fourth. She's on our fifth. It is basically blocks for each time or each day of the week. And then you have like a to-do list down the side of it. And what I like about that is that you can truly freeform and create your schedule or your to-do list however you want. So some people might literally use it as like a to-do list versus it being within certain time blocks. And I think for me, it depends on the week of if I have it time blocked on there as well, or if I just have it as to-do list. But every single idea that I have, I put inside of the brain book. Every single appointment that I have, I put inside the brain book. So I have a written copy of it as well as a digital copy of it. Something that I am doing this year that as in 2026, that I did not do in 2025, that I have found very necessary is I got another planner. So now I'm going to have 2 planners. I know this may seem like, okay, you're way too disorganized. And why do you have to have everything in 2 places? Or 3 places, I guess in this case, but I found it necessary for my streamlining so that I don't get distracted with other things on my to-do list. I now have my written calendar that has everything together. So no matter what somebody says of, can you be here at this time? I know it's on my phone. I have it written down in my brain book with all of my other ideas going on in my brain book. And then I have a separate planner. And this planner is a marketing planner. So if you missed in previous episodes, we brought our marketing in-house. So truly the only things marketing-wise that we are outsourcing at this time is our SEO and our, Jared Rohr, don't be mad at me, AEO, our AI SEO is how I will describe it. 2 separate categories, just learned that. We outsource that to aesthetic conversion. And then we outsource our meta ads in our Google ads. So aesthetic conversion's doing our Google ads, and then we outsource our meta ads to Dean Garland. Those are the only things that I do not have my hands completely wrapped around. I am able to delegate some, even though I'm kind of like almost like a project manager overseeing those things and tying those back into our office. I'm pretty hands off on that. Other than that though, all of our marketing goes through me. I was getting way too overwhelmed. I was getting way too discombobulated. We have 4 different business Instagram accounts and social platforms that go out that I'm managing on top of then email, on top of our CRM system, on top of referrals, on top of modeling days and creatives and like everything all together. I had too many things going through my heads in different places. So I got a planner that now is my marketing guideline. And what it does is it has a month breakdown of my marketing plan, and then it has daily and weekly. It has my goals for the month, it has my goals for the week, it has my goals for the day, and I can write everything down. I have found that doing this, I used to think that it was going to take away from time, like I was going to be spending too much time writing everything down. What I found is that it's actually helping me be more productive because when I have it written out, I have a guide of this is what I need to get done, and this is the order that I'm going to do it in. And sometimes when I put it down to paper, I realize it's an awful idea or it's an awful planning, like time planning, where I need to move things around. So I cannot, encourage enough, write it down, have different places. Don't feel like you're going to waste time. It may feel like because you're taking time here, you could just be spending it on working on the thing, but it will actually save you time in the long run when you can plan everything out. And how many people can remember every single idea that they have ever? The amount of times that I have had a brilliant idea and I say it, and the second that it leaves my mouth, it is out there in the universe and I will never remember it again, is so high. So I have my brain book. I have my marketing planner. I have my phone in my notes app. I pull it all together. It's fantastic that way. Okay, so that's kind of how I've been structuring my day throughout the day. Then I get home at night. This is where typically at the end of the night, I am so beat. I just want to have dinner with Easton and move on with my life because I'm so exhausted. But that's not how things work. I have to get ready for the next day so that we're set up for success. I have to make dinner, do all these things. Once a week, I will actually plan out my meals for the week. So whether this is like I will meal prep and have it all ready to go in the refrigerator, or I will know that like I have this frozen that I need to thaw then. I plan all of that out and have it ready so that when I get home at night after work, I don't have to think about it. Typically this is a Sunday job because it's Sunday is kind of my day where like I haven't been in the office since Friday. I've kind of mentally unchecked from work a tiny bit. I'm preparing for the week. So my brain is more on what do I have to do this week to like prep for? And it's relaxing. It's not like a stressful to-do list part, but it's something that I do that helps a lot with my week. So when I get home at the end of the night, I can just go to the refrigerator, pull out whatever meal it is, and Easton eats what I eat. So when I heat it up or, I'm fixing it, it's the same thing for both of us. We go in, I put him in his high chair in front of me, and we sit and we have that intentional time together, and it is so nice. And because I eat the same thing as him, he sees me eating it. He's actually a great eater. He's not picky whatsoever. I mean, some days he'll be like, oh, I don't want broccoli, and I'll give him something else and he'll be fine for the most part. If I'm eating something that's green, he wants to eat something that's green. If I'm eating chicken, he wants to eat chicken. So it works out. It works out really well. We sit down, we eat. I'll give him his bath if it's a bath night. He doesn't give it a bath every day. Hate me if you want, people, but I don't find that that's necessary, and it's actually really harsh for skin. So if it's a bath night, I'll give him a bath. I'll get him ready for bed. He will then play with Memphis for a little bit. It burns some energy with Memphis. Those two are so cute together. They genuinely love playing together, which is amazing because Easton's not even a year old yet. And he's already like figuring out how to throw the ball for Memphis, and Memphis just likes getting head scratches from him. And like, they're really sweet. So at this point, Easton will typically be playing with Memphis, and I will go back. If I haven't cleaned up bottles, I'll finish making bottles. I'll prep bottles for the next day so I don't have to worry about it in the morning, or at least I have it ready where if I am making it in the morning, everything's laid out where it's really fast for me to put together, and it's taking some of that thought out. So I really do try to prepare at the end of the night for the next day so that then in the morning, I'm just going through the motions of getting us out the door versus having to prep and get us out the door all at once. Easton, I'm really lucky. Knock on wood, Easton's really good at bedtime. So when he's ready to go to sleep, he'll start rubbing his eyes. I give him a bottle. He goes right to sleep, and he's pretty much out. So from there on out, I can get some things done that maybe I couldn't get done while I had him earlier, whether that is sitting down and staring at my computer for an hour or something else. Guys, this is survival. This is not what is best for my circadian rhythm. This is not a forever thing. This is just how I am surviving today. So at that point, I will then get a couple extra things done at the end of the night. I'll put on my mouth tape and I will go to bed. Mouth tape is something I have added in the last month, and I really enjoy it a lot. To be honest, I thought it was kind of gimmicky. Thought it was kind of just like, okay, these girls want to put on this cute mouth tape. It is really cute. I've owned it for a couple years now, but I started using it, and the medical side of it, the clarity that you get from breathing through your nose instead of your mouth at night, if you're able to stop it, you really do sleep deeper and you have more quality sleep. And for me, that's something that I cannot miss on right now. If I am able to sleep, it better be quality sleep. I do not have time to be tossing and turning all night, because then I will have 1 hour of sleep in my 4 hours that maybe I will get one night if Easton's not waking up. And Easton's still at the age where sometimes he is up in the middle of the night and sometimes he sleeps all night long. So I started mouth taping. It helps me sleep nice and deep, and I wake up the next day and I move on, and it's the same exact plan. So that's what it's like. That's my day. Okay, next question. How do you decide who's on your podcast? This is a fun one. So some people have reached out and said that they wanted to be on the podcast, and so they've been guests. Most people have been my genuine real life friends beforehand that I've met through the industry, or I just think have incredible things to share. And so that's how they do. I do have a form on the Bright Side of Beauty podcast Instagram page. If you click on the bio, there is a form that you can fill out if you would like to be a guest on there, or just reach out to me if you'd be interested in being a guest and you have a topic in mind, and we can go back and forth. My goal with the podcast is for it to bring value of some sort, whether it be just a friend on the other side, whether it be brightening your perspective, or whether it be delivering very tangible things that you can apply into your life, into your practice, into your beauty regimen, whatever it may be. Most of my guests have been people that are coming from behind the scenes where we're able to pull back the curtain and you're able to see some of the behind the scenes of product development or what goes into SEO, what goes into social media marketing. It's really just these bright minds that bring interesting perspectives and education to the industry. So I've reached out to them and said, hey, will you come and be on the podcast and can we talk about this? But some of them have been like, I'd love to come on and I think that this would be a great topic. And I've said, sounds great. Let's do it. So you can apply on that form on the Bright Side of Beauty podcast Instagram page or send me a DM. Or who knows, maybe I'll be hitting you up pretty soon if we are industry friends and asking you to be on the podcast soon. Okay, next question and last one that I'm going to do on this week's episode is, how do you prepare for a new year? And this one I feel like could be both ways. It could be, how do I prepare for a new year personally and professionally? Or how as a business do we prepare for the new year? So I'm going to answer this on this week's episode from a personal place. And then on next week's episode, I will answer it from a professional place. So personally, how I prepare for the new year is planning out my planners, like I gave you the download on earlier. I like to make sure that my planner is all set up for the year, that I have all the important dates in there, that I have transferred over my intentions for the year and my ideas that maybe I haven't used previously. I really like having a written planner because it also is kind of a record book of what you accomplished or didn't accomplish in the year prior. So I like to go through my previous year. I'm currently doing that with 2025 as I am setting up my game plan for 2026. And I take ideas that maybe I had an idea last February or last March that I never acted on because I was having a baby. I will bring that back. I will add it back in. If it's still relevant, I'll put it in the new year and maybe I'll be able to start working on that right now. I have gotten very strategic too with, if I know that maybe there's a project that I can't start working on now, but I want to start working on it in the next quarter, I will put it in my planner during that next quarter at the beginning of it so that I have that reminder of, hey, I wanted to work on this. Let's start planning this out now. Or I'll set the groundwork so that I then can start taking the steps to act on it when we get to the second corner. Whatever, I kind of think through like, okay, what do I need to do so that I can get to XYZ point in that journey? So my planner is a big part of that. The other thing that I have learned to do is to reflect back on my previous year to plan for my next year in what are things that were really draining? What sucked the absolute daylights out of me? What inspired me and excited me that I know if I focus or if I keep these things in my routine, in my day to day, that it'll keep me inspired and fueled up for the coming months or the coming weeks ahead, you know? So I really do a lot of reflection of what are some things that are important in my life that need to stay as staples and what are things that I need to funnel out? What are things I need to kick out because they are just draining and there's no reason for it? And I guess on that note too, I think through what are things that maybe are draining, but they're necessary parts of my life. So how can I improve that so that they're not as stressful for me? And then I set up systems so that they're less stressful for me. So that's really how I think through the year. My friend Alicia Merlot challenged me, I guess we're coming on 3 years ago now, to pick a word of the year. She sent me a book that was basically like walking through your intentions for the year and picking a word for the year. And I really liked that a lot. Last year was the first year that I felt like I couldn't do that. So I did it for 2 years. Last year, I felt like my life was just too up in the air. And given how the puzzle pieces then ended up falling, I'm glad I didn't put that pressure on myself for the year. But I really like that act of what is your word for the year, whether it be enlightenment, whether it be strength, where you're focused on very specific things. And those are just 2 examples, but you loop everything back to that word so that you are really honing in and refining yourself based on whatever that intention is. That's not something that I've done for this year. Maybe I'll add it in later, but for now, That's not something I'm doing. I have done it in the past though, and I really like it. So if you need an idea of how to set an intention for the year, I really like that idea of, praying on, meditating on what your word for the year would be. And then having that posted, whether it is in your planner, whether it's on your mirror, whether it's in your car, on a Post-it note, on your desk, whatever it may be, where it's front of face, front of mind constantly that you can be working towards as well. All right. I think that that's enough rambling for today's episode. I hope that this gave you a little bit of insight as well. You know how long-winded I can be, but sharing is caring, friends, and I overshare because I care so much. If you have any questions that you want me to answer on another Q&A or on Instagram, let me know in my Instagram DMs. And other than that, I will see you next week on the Bright Side of Beauty podcast.